Hello, my friends at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Metro Brokers. It's so wonderful to be with you today, even though I'm with you all virtually and hopefully for the last time. I can't wait to see you all in person sometime soon, and that absolutely will happen. But what I want to do today is just take a few minutes and share some of my thoughts over the past year of, well, not complete lockdown, but somewhat lockdown. And so if we go to the next slide, challenge and change. That's really how I think about today. And when we think about what we've gone through, I like to call it dynamic times, because we have thought a lot about both personally and professionally how we can do things differently and better and create opportunities for ourselves that we may not have thought of before. So let's move on. And I want to talk about one of my favorite topics before we get into the tips that I'd like to share with you. Page has never been more important than today. And, it's funny, when we developed Page, gosh, almost 13 years ago, passion, authenticity, inclusion, growth, and excellence, who would have thought that having a foundation built on core values would be so important today? Today's consumer is looking for a deeper relationship with all of you, and the foundation that you have helps create that deeper relationship. But let's move on. Today, well, lifestyle is very important. And, I've said this before, and you may have heard me say it, but I believe that real estate is the new travel, and that today we're dreaming about where we want to live and how we want to raise our families and what we want the next phase of our lives to look like as it relates to housing. And of course, we're in the perfect industry to help. And so when we think about that, lifestyle is very, very important. And lifestyle is what the Better Homes and Gardens brand is built on. It's the lifestyle brand of real estate. We're trailblazers. We were the first brand to talk about lifestyle way back when we launched in 2008. And at that time, people looked at us like, what are you talking about? And so today, everyone is talking about lifestyle. And what's also happened is that we've become more connected in different ways through social media in particular, where that's how we market ourselves. It's how we look for new business. It's how we portray ourselves as individuals, both, again, personally and professionally. So much has changed over the last several years. Today's consumer wants to be informed, and they have so many sources to go to for that information. However, if they go to you, you are going to help them and create a deeper relationship with them. Today's consumer wants to be empowered, and they want to feel as though they're in control. And so the only way that they can do that, or one of the ways that they can do that, is by feeling comfortable with you as the human being in the transaction, the person that's guiding them through all of the information that is out there and helping them make an informed decision and an empowered decision. So I feel good about our brand, obviously, and the industry in the months and years to come, and you should as well. So let's move on to some tips that I'd like to share with you. My top 5 list. You might have heard a few of these before because I've carried a couple of them forward. I think that they're so important. Let's go to number 1. So number 1 is look at your business from the outside in, and every improvement that you make counts. Put yourselves in the shoes of the consumer for a day. What would you want if you were looking for a home? What would you want of your real estate agent? What would surprise and delight you as a consumer? And then put yourselves back in the shoes of what you do every day, and that's help consumers move on to the next phase of their lives and make those little changes that will help make you shine even more than you do. Let's go on to number 2. And so number 2 talks about ensure you have the right plans in place. So I'm a big believer in planning, both for the short term and the long term. And so if we think about short-term plans, gosh, we've been in short-term planning for the past 13 months, haven't we? When COVID hit and everything shut down, we had to go into survival mode. That's short-term planning. But also think about long-term planning as well. And where do you want to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, as it relates to both your personal life and your business? And what are you going to do? This is most important. What are you going to do to get there? So think about the present, but at the same time, think about the future. So let's go on to number 3. Now, number 3 really speaks to doing what you do best. I also like to call that finding the highest and best use of you as an individual, as a real estate professional, and find that highest and best use. And then those other tasks, well, hire someone else to do them. Make sure that you're spending time doing what you do best. And that will help you, again, create deeper relationships with the end consumer and also be your most productive self. I've done a lot of reflecting on this in the past year, and it's helped change the way that I look at things. So I'm still a big multitasker, but I'm really prioritizing more and doing the things that really, really matter and really count. So let's move on to number 4. Now, number 4 is never lose sight of the consumer. And of course, I don't even have to tell you all this, but you know, you're ahead of the game already because the Better Homes and Gardens real estate brand and Metro Brokers, we're so far ahead of the competition as it relates to caring about the end consumer. Well, you know, we shouldn't even really need to talk about this, but I like to include it because every day you should think about your customers out there, what they're looking for, how you're going to exceed their expectations, etc. I do that because guess what? You are my customers, and everything that I do, every tool that we develop, every piece of marketing material is all with you in mind. So think about that when you're looking for business, looking for new customers, and servicing your existing clientele. So let's move on to our final tip for today. And that really speaks to, well, we count and measure steps, calories, and likes. Are you treating your time the same way? You know, one of the first things that I did at the beginning of lockdown was I bought a new Apple Watch. And I did that because I thought, gosh, I'm not running through airports anymore. I'm not getting my 10,000 steps in per day because I'm in one place. And so I made sure that I tracked that each and every day and kept those steps up. And so we love to count steps. Some of us count calories. We all count likes. So are you treating your time the same way? Are you counting and blocking time to do those important things? Remember the other tips that I shared with you and spending time doing the things that matter most, the highest and best use of you, you need to block the time to do that. So as we move forward into the year 2021, that is going to be a fantastic year. Real estate is still as busy as it could be. I want you to think about these tips and wake up every morning, be your best self, do the things that matter most, and have a wonderful, wonderful year. And I'll see you in person, well, maybe sometime this year, but certainly at the beginning of 2022. So thanks to Kevin, Craig, the entire management team at BHGRE Metro Brokers, and most importantly, all of you, the agents that serve the consumers each and every day. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all you do, and have a wonderful day.